Podcast. We are your host. I'm Steven.
And Kyle.
And it's Monday Occult. So you know what that means. You've chosen us to hang out with you to get you through your week. Wow. Get you through your work week. And we appreciate that. We like being able to be part of your day, part of your week, something you all look forward to. It's a cool thing. Cool scene to be a part of. If you're new here, me and Kyle like to chat a little bit before we get into the crux of the show. So if that's not something you're down with, you'll want to skip ahead about 5 minutes. If you want to hear us talk, hang out. If you're not new here, welcome back, you weirdo. We appreciate you hanging out. So we're going to get through the business. Check us out at all our social media, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Discord, Reddit. Search up the Holosky Podcast and you'll find us there. Come join the community. Be part of the cult. It's a cool cult. It's what everybody wants to be a part of. And it's a good time. If you have a paranormal experience you'd like for us to feature on a future episode of our listener experience show that drops on Thursdays, Kyle's got some details for you.
I do. It's easy. In the show notes, holoskypodcast@gmail.com, holoskypodcast.com. Whatever way you can record yourself, audio-wise or video if you see fit. You can write it out. Try to include as much detail as you can so we can properly analyze your situation and give it the utmost expert opinion that we are capable of reaching. That way you get logged correctly and you get the fame you deserve.
It's easy, really.
It is.
It's easy.
You deserve better. Always remember that.
You do.
You deserve better.
You've earned it.
Yeah.
If you'd like to support this endeavor we're doing right now, there's plenty of ways you can do it. We have a Patreon, and for a mere $7 a month, you get Patreon-exclusive episodes. You get all your regular episodes early. You also get them ad-free. You get some cool AI metal and other genres of music from the AI Holosky metal band Casket Breath, which is cool. It's sick and fly. You also sometimes get coupons to the merch store. Merch store, you're asking yourself? Yeah, holoskypodcast.com. We have a store over there where we sell shirts and hats and beanies and stickers. So you can go over there and check that out, see if there's anything that really tickles your fancy, and rep the Holocult that way. The best and easiest thing you can do is share the show. Share the show word of mouth. It's free, it's quick, it's easy, helps show growth, like more than pretty much anything else we can do. So that for sure helps us out. We appreciate that. You can also go to wherever you listen to podcasts and leave us a 5-star rating and review. When I find them, I will shout you out. This week's 5-star rating and review comes to us from our friend Good Vibes Only 369. Good Vibes says, amazing, 5 stars. You guys talk about all the stuff I'm interested in. The hosts are great and mature. Whoa. Hold on now. They work really well together. Hard work paid off. Great podcast. While I appreciate the kind words, maturity is subjective.
Agreed. Also, paying off is subjective.
Eventually, we will get there. I can feel it. And we'll just create weird content full time. But now is not the time.
I mean, if you want to see us judo kick a little gray,
we got to manifest it, Holocult.
Yeah, we got some ground to cover.
We got a timeline shift from the lame timeline to the sick and fly timeline.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, good vibes. Thanks for taking the time to write in this nice
love.
little 5-star from your mature Holocult host. Responsible and mature. I'm gonna
also successful.
I'm gonna get that put on my driver's license. Mature.
I think you should get it tattooed underneath your eye.
Yeah, I'm going to.
Yeah.
Driver's license.
Definitely your driver's license.
My driver's license number.
Yeah.
Speaking of mature, you also should do the mature thing and support some of our sponsors who you're going to hear from right now. All right, we are back And I'm peering over at the title of Kyle's secret little episode today, and it's here we go.
It's pretty litty. It's interesting. I'm kind of I guess I'm on this track of soul harvesting and stuff like that.
Yes.
I don't really know why, to be honest with you, but here we are again, and it's another contraption of soul harvesting in a different aspect. So like I said, I don't know why I'm being drawn to this, but I am right now, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm loving it. So, in this idea, as we walk towards this new dawn of a technological age, we are essentially starting to blur the lines of life itself. And in regard to the soul harvesting aspect of this episode, it's not exactly in the form of the biblical standpoint. It's more, it could kind of be considered the harvesting of your consciousness, which is currently being referred to as digital soul harvesting. And it's interesting because the belief runs down this rabbit hole of everything we do digitally, like every keystroke, selfie, biometric scan, VR session is just more and more data that we are contributing to this new era.
That's weird when you think about it.
Yeah, it's literally a fragment of, like, people are viewing it as every keystroke, everything that we do is giving this digital era a fragment of ourselves.
Which we don't, like, I don't think we consciously realize how much we put on the internet.
Oh, no.
Until we start thinking about how much we put on the internet. And then it's like, oh.
Yeah, a phrase that I found that's like beautifully written in regards to putting fragments of ourselves out there, a pixelated shard of our soul.
That's crazy.
Is what's being put out there.
Because, like, it's funny to an extent. There's a new trend on TikTok, right, where people are posting their astrological charts and saying, "Hey, do any like astrology girlies? Can you tell me what my chart means?" And there's like legit people in the metaphysical world saying, "Stop doing that. Stop putting that out there. Stop giving that to everyone on social media. That's like your metaphysical social security card you're putting out there. Like it is significant to you and you alone, and you're just putting it out there for anybody to take and use.
Just letting her rip.
Which could fall into this too, depending on how far this thing goes and like what avenues it goes down.
It's crazy, man. When you really start to ponder on it, it's scary because if everything that we're doing online is essentially creating a profile of our innermost self, not just to predict our behaviors, but replicate them, contain them, and possibly imprison it within a synthetic realm after we die. Maybe not even die. But all of this could potentially run down roads like creepypastas that some of us have heard. I thoroughly enjoy creepypastas and scary stories. But we've heard stories where your loved one dies, a company contacts you and is like, hey, based upon your wife's internet profile, we were able to create a digital version of your wife. And we're allowing you to have a phone conversation with your wife, essentially. That conversation takes place. Oh, man, well, Steve, I'm sorry, buddy. You ran out of minutes. You got to.
Yeah, it's like Black Mirror episode.
Yeah. And then that could be even pushed even farther to where in the future, that digital consciousness that was created gets placed within a robot, which could be a form of soul transfer. But the topic itself is kind of this twofold system. It touches on ancient fears like the self, the thing that makes us us, can essentially be stolen, enslaved, and replicated. Through many cultures, you have fears and myths of the soul being stolen and even possession. Examples like the Gnostic archons, which we kind of talked about in the the moon is a soul trap episode, and it even goes through where there are old stories of fairies that have carried off human essence. So all we have essentially ancient history, so to speak, of ways that the soul has been stolen. And this is a more modernized version of that. It taps into the constant unease we all have with modern technology. We all know essentially that modern technology is getting out of control, but we accept it. And we accept it because, one of the main reasons is convenience. Convenience will be the death of us.
Oh, yeah.
We constantly rationalize all of it as well. Because guys like Steve and I, we have been aware that our information is logged and collected for a very long time. A lot of people still view that as highly conspiratorial. They're not collecting my data. They're not intercepting my pictures. That thumbprint and facial scan on my phone isn't doing anything. That's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And we know that's bullshit. It's 100% bullshit. Not to mention, that technology has been so integrated into our day-to-day lives, it's unavoidable. It's almost 100% unavoidable. We've gone as far as getting rid of landlines, the way that our working hours are logged, the way that our checks are deposited. Think about it. You go to the store now, very few people pay with cash. It's all digital.
Yeah, when I worked at DB Schenker, that's how we clocked in with our fingerprints. That way people couldn't clock somebody else in and not be there.
Right.
Which is like it is crazy how much we share in those aspects.
Oh,
you don't even think about it. Like logging into my MacBook. Hey, we need your fingerprint. Okay. All right. No. That ain't no thing. You don't even think about it.
And then essentially every device, which is almost everything that is connected to the internet, all of that has access to be stolen and collected.
Oh yeah.
It
even goes further into these weird trends where scan your face and we'll show you what you look like as a child, or scan your face and we'll show you what you're going to look like in 50 years.
Yep.
You don't think that's a little sus, everybody?
No, it absolutely is. So this theory that we're kind of venturing around, the core idea of it all. Human consciousness or aspects of can be captured, stored, and manipulated through digital means. So like I said earlier, maybe not in the biblical sense, but more in this energetic, emotional, and behavioral data that essentially makes up a person. Something I was thinking about too, how often we look to the internet and machines for essentially answers. We know for a fact that most are not the most honest, and finding the truth is getting harder and harder. But the overall point to this is that I'll bet that we've all, for lack of better words, have crossed some lines with the internet, like asking questions that we wouldn't want anybody to know, or searching up things that we definitely don't want people to know, right? So in a way, it's almost like entrusting someone with all of our dirty little secrets. Some quite literally. Not to mention all the access we give to computers to our personal lives, passwords, finances, locations, family, pictures.
Oh, yeah.
Everything about us as a human race collectively is being funneled into a digital world.
And
Everything.
It's everywhere. Smart TVs, Alexas, like smart watches are like they're even monitoring your heart rates.
Yeah.
At all times. They know when you sleep. They know what like direction you're laying in when you sleep. Like it's a whole thing.
It's crazy.
It's scary that we're so in tune with letting them do that. We're like, yeah, might as well.
Like I said, it all comes at like this nonchalant cost to us where it's convenience is king. And it's so integrated that we overlook the boundaries that get crossed every day.
Oh yeah. Like if a member of the government was going to say, Kyle, I'm going to come and I'm going to sit in your house. I'm going to sit in your living room and I'm going to listen to everything you and your wife talk about. I'm going to monitor everything you do on the internet and I'm going to be right there and I'm going to be watching you over your shoulder.
Yeah, I'm going to say you're about to catch a mean backhand.
Yeah, you're fucked. But when it's not an actual person sitting there, we're cool with it. Sure, we'll log on the smart TV. Sure, we'll put these fucking listening devices in our houses. Yep. We'll like let every keystroke and every keylog be collected, and we just keep doing it.
And there's tons of like little hidden gems in all these electronics too, because we've had plenty of information about how countries like China will put things in their vacuum cleaners that connect to your Wi-Fi, and then that feeds off information to China. Another one that I've always found crazy interesting, and it's simply a man that was able to manipulate the construction of the iPhone. He came up with, I believe, software to where you set your iPhone on its side, right? You put it in picture mode, and it's able to take this like panoramic picture all by itself. So you have a big group of people that doesn't fit in the camera. This app will take that picture, right? And so what it does actually is it uses the iPhone's vibrate function, and it is able to manipulate that to actually, when you lay the camera down on a hard surface, it vibrates in a way that actually rotates the camera and takes a panoramic picture that way.
That is ridiculous.
Crazy, right? So think about how much is in modern technology that is able to be manipulated like that.
Oh yeah, everything. Like my robot vacuum literally maps out the blueprints of my house.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
And is easily like you connect it to a phone that's connected to networks and Wi-Fi.
Yep.
And then you have phones and you have smartwatches and you have Fitbits and things that monitor how long you're in a room.
Yep.
How much time you spend in this room, how much time you spend in that room. What like, and they can easily pick out like what room you're doing what in. It's bonkers.
It's crazy. So you take all of that and you look to these theories that point that when all this information is captured, it can be used for things like cloning us into a digital consciousness, feeding it to AI or non-human intelligence, and using it for control and predictive programming. Some people are leaning toward the idea that data is essentially is like an energetic signature for us. Like I've stated already, every post, every photo, search, biometric scan is a piece of your personality. So over time, with all this access, the AI can map your values, fears, and desires, which in a way could be considered building a soul profile. Things like wearables, smartwatches, Neuralinks, these things are theorized to slowly sync with your brain's unique electromagnetic patterns. Some people claim that your vibrational signature can be uploaded through this technology. Then you have an idea about the digital afterlife trap, which suggests that when you die, it may be possible for your consciousness to be intercepted by a simulation network, which is just sounds fucking terrifying. And I'll forever mention this. I think this was a bizarre point in my paranormal journey, because you talk about the consciousness possibly being linked to your soul and the siphoning of your consciousness. And I'll forever point to an interview that was on the Confessional podcast with Tony Merkel. The CEO of Randonautica was on there, and he was actively talking about how they were actively trying to figure out how to break into the human consciousness like it was some type of Wi-Fi signal.
Which is terrifying.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And then I remember he made some offhand comment about Occult as well. But I'll never forget that, how he was like, yeah, we're figuring out how to tap into human consciousness.
Which
That's what we're doing.
That's so weird. Like when you break the brain down into like its base form, it's just like electrical impulses and waves, which probably isn't that hard to crack into.
No,
if you get it dialed in the right way.
I think it has been done, is being done, and it's crazy. And if his company's doing it, he's not the only company doing it.
Oh no, he's just the one that's on the precipice of it all.
Yeah. He was the dumb enough one to come out publicly and say that this is what I'm doing.
Hack consciousness. That's
Crazy. So from there, you could beg the question, maybe we're not in a simulation quite yet, but we're rapidly expanding to one, which bare minimum, I feel like we could all agree on this. We are definitely headed toward currently we're heading toward a era of like Ready Player One, where people are being prepared for a digital world, like a VR world or augmented reality, where we're able to put on, a headset, and then we're in this digital world where we can now become anyone, do anything. And they've already talked about creating essentially digital jobs where you can make a digital currency that may, work in a Facebook marketplace area, and it creates an economy within this digital world, and more people will partake in it.
Which is that's crazy that's reality.
It is. It's 100% reality, and it is crazy. It's nuts because, like I said, it'll just come down to convenience then. Because now, Steve, I don't even have to leave my house to go to my job. I just put my headset on.
Yeah, you don't have to leave your house at all.
I just put my headset on.
You get your paycheck and you spend it in Facebook Marketplace, and it'll be delivered to your front door.
There you go.
It's almost like it's feeding into that cycle of loneliness and solitude and depression, like making us disconnect from other people as much as we possibly can.
But at the same time, how do they sell all this?
As social connection.
As connection, right? Yeah. It's something I never really thought about until you just kind of laid that out.
Yeah,
but they sell it as connecting. But what would be the purpose of all of this? Why would companies and governments want to tap into this consciousness? One overarching possibility is that they are resource harvesting, using consciousness as a kind of fuel or processing power for artificial intelligence and or non-human entities. So roll that around in your head for just a quick second. Extremely terrifying, but you have this possibility that our consciousness could be stolen and used as a processing power for an artificial intelligence unlike anything we've ever seen. Because we've all heard the reference that our brains,
it's the best supercomputer
ever.
They can't even come up with anything close to matching it.
Right. But the second aspect of what I just said It's a little more terrifying to me. The fact that our consciousness could be harvested for non-human intelligences, which in recent years, we've heard that phrase several times, non-human intelligences, which in my opinion is a direct reference to AI or the possibility of extraterrestrial / interdimensional beings. Then you take that in conjunction with the fact that we know throughout history, world governments have made deals with extraterrestrials and maybe even interdimensional.
Maybe even AI. Which is, I don't know, man. The whole thing is so weird. My brain is just kind of churning in on itself here, thinking about all this.
It's bizarre to take in and digest because we don't really know what human consciousness is.
That's what I was just gonna say. Like, what
is that? A fragment of the soul? Is that the soul?
Exactly. What makes our consciousness human if it can be harvested and digitally stored on, like, in the digital realm? Can't a digital one just be created?
You would maybe.
Does that hold the same validity that a soul or a consciousness holds?
That would be the part of this that's up for extreme debate, because you have an era that we've all been living that is soul based, the religious soul that we all know, right? But like you said, like, we are built, like, the brain operates with like a computer almost, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, with the impulses and the electromagnetics and all this shit can influence the brain and fuck with it. But that could be, like you said, that could be copied and placed digitally. And in a weird way, it is us. If it's all copied.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
It is like how do you differentiate that?
How do you differentiate? Yeah. If you can take an AI program and perfectly copy my everything, my thought processes, my moral compass, my religious point of views, my just the whole thing. If you can just make an exact copy and put it into the digital realm, or put it into AI, or put it into an AI advanced robot, does that now have a soul? Because it's exactly the same thing that I'm running with.
It's weird.
It is weird.
It's weird. And it's like, I think you would have a split camp on that debate too.
Oh yeah, there will be people that say, oh, it's human based. You're like a soul has to be, like, it's almost a very uniquely human thing to have a soul.
Right.
Right. But if, like, at what point does human created consciousness, like, where's the gray area? Where does it stop at? I don't know. It's just it's such a weird, especially if it can be harvested from me. Like what makes my soul can be taken from me and put into something else? Does that cancel out my soul?
Well, I was looking at it at a way of, if you're in. So right now in this conversation, just to be clear for everybody listening, we're using loosely soul and consciousness in almost conjunction with itself, right?
Yeah.
Like right now, it's in a framework of they're both kind of the same thing. But my point to all that is, if you're able to siphon off, like if I'm able to siphon off your consciousness to say feed an AI supercomputer, are you able to run out of said consciousness? Or is it forever refilling? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because like if you want to get really weird with it, now my brain's kind of chugging down this road. Like, let's assume, okay, so like I'll lay out a scenario for you and tell me if it kind of hits, because it's kind of fucking my brain up right now. Let's assume that there is some type of artificial entity out there that we are siphoning human consciousness towards to make it more powerful, or maybe it's doing it on its own, whatever the case may be there. What if human consciousness does have a shelf life and it can be drained? And when it is drained, that has unknown to us created the NPCs
I was
that
just
people
going to say that.
reference.
I was just going to say that.
Because think about that. Consciousness, in my opinion, and maybe I'm off here, but the way my brain's running is that consciousness, in a way, could almost be attributed to creativity. And you hear that in the argument of the NPC thing, where people, you could say, hey, Steve, I want you to envision a white dove sitting on a red ball. And you and me can do that. But there are people out there that cannot do that.
Yeah.
They cannot mentally visualize anything. They have no internal dialogue. So there are times, we all know what an internal dialogue is, where we almost have a conversation with our inner self, right? There are people out there that cannot and have not ever done that.
I was just going down that route. I'm like, could this be an explanation for the NPCs or the backdrop people?
Yes.
That like Dolores Cannon talked about, where she can't lock in to someone's essence, someone's life source, someone's soul, someone's consciousness. Like there's few people she runs into that are just void, that are just empty. Could this be victims of this soul harvesting, be it digitally, be it physically, or could it be something beyond that? Could they be like created containers to put digitally created AI consciousness into, to integrate into the human population?
That is gross when you consider the human soul by itself, because the human soul is often looked at like a shard, essentially a shard of God. The soul is like a shard of God that he places within us.
That's like a
to create life.
Yeah.
And so that's gross when you word it that way, almost like these people are being biologically created as the container, which you could take a digital soul and put that spark within this biological container to give it, sentience and what it means to be a human, essentially, which is disturbing as fuck.
Because who was it that said that humans are soul containers?
That was Bob Lazar.
Yeah, Lazar. Which kind of makes you wonder, like, are they soul containers for what we consider souls? Like you said, like the religious concept of a soul? Are we soul containers for extraterrestrial consideration of a soul that they put into us? Are we soul containers for this AI digital God that's putting souls inside of us? Like there are so many avenues that could go. Like the word soul container is, and how would you know the difference as a person?
We never would. That's the fucked up part, is we never would.
Because you hear all those things.
Yes.
Like obviously through religion, you feel like your soul is connected to God.
Mm-hmm.
Then you hear soul containers in the UFO realm, and you think that whatever the soul is some sort of like life source.
It's an energy.
An energy that the extraterrestrials are very, very much interested in. But then you go beyond that, start hearing talk about a AI digital god out there that could also apparently create digital consciousness, digital souls that could be manipulated into human bodies. Even for what? To get us to get out there into like the public. I don't know. It's weird.
It's strange.
It's weird.
It's strange. So moving on a little bit, another reason something like this could be taking place is kind of what we would all expect from it is a control aspect. Like I stated earlier, we put a lot of personal things into the internet and computer systems. If it's able to learn everything about us, like our fears, our desires, and in my opinion, and I know it'll be Steve's opinion, that, my friends, is ripe for manipulation.
100%.
Control and blackmail are now 100% on the table. And then you sprinkle in AI on top of that. Well, AI would be smart enough to corrupt, for example, a good man, a man that would never do anything horrible. AI at that point could generate incriminating photos to place on his phone or his computer. And because this is a good, righteous man, he would never want that to be released into the world, because he may know that even though they're fake, it doesn't mean shit if it's blown up all over the place and everybody believes that it's real. And then it could come out later and be proven fake, but his life would still be ruined. The same could be said with relationships, altering text messages, making them, for someone without even knowing it. And we know that these systems already exist, because here lately, I've actually been purging my social medias, going through them, and I've been noticing a lot of strange things. I notice how there are a lot of accounts on my Instagram that I have not followed at all. And the fucked up thing about it is these accounts will never have a post in my feed. So it's like they're manipulating to get me as a quote unquote follower, but some mechanism within this software is preventing anything they post to show up on my feed, so they remain undetected by me, so I can add to their digital number.
It's weird.
And it's straight up manipulation is what that is.
I hope people are keeping tally of how many times I say it's weird, because like I don't know how else to explain it. I don't know what else to say about it. Like it's bizarre that these things happen, and on the surface they don't feel like that strange. Like, oh, maybe it's a little hiccup in the software, or maybe it's some sort of glitch, but I feel like there's much more purpose and probably nefarious isms behind stuff like that.
Oh, I agree. I think some's mundane, but some of it is definitely nefarious.
Yeah.
Another reason something like this could be taking place, and this is a fun one, the powers that be are running immortality experiments.
When you first said that, the title of the show, I immediately thought of digital immortality.
Yeah.
It's almost like the opposite of cryogenic freezing.
Yeah.
Where you keep the body intact until there's a way to resurrect. Whereas this way you keep the consciousness intact until you find another body, be it digitally, be it physically, be it robotically, however you want it. It is like almost the opposite of physical immortality.
And to be clear, I do believe that digital immortality is the end game for humanity. I think that humanity will essentially evolve digitally / robotically.
Like a cyborg world.
Like a cyborg, yeah, 100%.
Because human bodies, while very resilient, are very expendable.
Yeah.
Like we don't age well. We break down quick.
Yep.
We are susceptible to all sorts of illnesses. And if they can, which right now they're making a lot of fucking money on, because we're worth a lot more sick than we are healthy.
Yeah.
That's hands down. But I think once it gets to a certain point, like they're not going to have a choice but to kind of go that route, kind of integrate in almost like a cyborg world.
And think about that too. Like on a grand scale. If you let's run a scenario of like a pandemic, and it's a bad one that essentially annihilates the planet. Well, the elites in this scenario have already digitally uploaded their minds and consciousness into an AI interface, whatever. Right? So they're prepped. They think we'll just say they're prepped. They're ready for their biological body to fail, right? Well, in my opinion, aside, like, and I know it could be done, but I feel like there would be glitches to it more so. But the point is say you've got 1,500 elites, and so now it's humanity has been reduced to 1,500 people. How, if the rest of humanity hasn't uploaded their minds, how do you create humanity again? Right? I feel like that's a problem. You could write algorithms to fill cyborgs to create these store shop owners and shit like that, but it would be like a video game.
It's like The Sims.
Yeah.
100%.
But it's not humanity. However, through X amount of years of collecting everyone on the planet's data, you could essentially recreate humanity.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Even without, all of our biological bodies have now moved on, but the AI has all of our digital consciousness there. So it could essentially recreate Kyle again and Steve again and places in synthetic life forms.
Yep.
And now it's kind of in a weird way we continue life.
They monitor, like they have the ability to monitor everything. They know our eating habits. They know when what we order for our grocery takeout.
Our medical records.
What we order on online menus. They know like the weird porn habits and shit. Like they know everything about us.
Yep.
Down to a T.
And think about it. Think about how often, like sometimes you and me will text and we're expressing our, like, essentially our moral compass and all of that stuff.
What's going wrong in our lives? What sets us off? What makes us sad? Like they have it all.
It's everything.
They have it all.
It's everything.
And it would be easy to, like, at a certain point, it would be easy to create a copy of all the things that make me tick, that make me Steve, and put it in to another body as Steve.
And what would be crazy is just like thinking about it right now. If they took Steve algorithm and placed it into like a synthetic vocal box that just gave me a random voice, but it had everything like you, I think that I would still feel hollow, right? Like this AI Steve is hollow. However, now imagine that same scenario, but say I get a phone call from digital doppelganger Steve. I don't know that I would know the difference. Like if it was your exact voice, your mannerisms, your all of it, I wouldn't know the difference.
Oh, or even if it was a text interface.
Yeah.
Going back and forth. Think of how much we communicate via text.
Yep.
And like we know each other's mannerisms. Like when we're talking, like I can tell when Kyle's having a bad day just via text message. Because we communicate that way. And it would be so hard.
You wouldn't be able to tell a difference.
No. And that's terrifying.
It is terrifying. And the idea of transferring our minds to synthetic bodies is kind of out there. It's an out there thought process. Except for the fact that I found examples of people trying to figure this out publicly for quite some time now. Steve kind of mentioned it before. There was a idea of essentially cryogenics, and I think there's a company called Cryonics and Future Revival, which would be the idea that individuals you're essentially Demolition Man in it. You're being frozen with the intent that in the future technology will catch up and they will be able to revive you once we are, in the future we get that technology. Still a lot of downsides to that because biologically we will still fail at some point. But you also have several companies, I'm not going to name them all, but this one in particular was interesting to me. They're walking this field of biohacking. Lots of companies are running trials. I found one in 2020 with this woman named Liz Parrish. She's the CEO of BioViva. And they were taking gene therapy genes and injecting them into human subjects, including herself. I read a little bit about the experiment, and it's fucking weird because it sounds familiar. So check this out. There was a interview, and first, before we get into that, the company's plans is to reverse aging by 2033. They are funding genomics, proteomics, regenerative medicine, nurture something or another, nanotechnology, and artificial intelligence. So they're getting their fingers into every aspect of essentially immortality or bare minimum prolonging life. There's one person that did get the treatment that I was kind of referencing earlier. They said it was a fucked up thing because you paid for the trial. It was non-refundable no matter what. You had to go to Mexico to do it because obviously it was probably legal here in the United States. And they got there. They're like, there was no check-in, no talking with the doctor, no nothing. You went in the room, sat down. There was somebody there holding 2 syringes. One of them, they shove up your nose, squirt it in there, which vaguely reminds me of the C19 shit that we all went through. And the person even said it felt like it was being pumped directly into their brain. Coming to find out, that's exactly what happens. They were given 2 syringes of anti-aging genes. Those genes were hooked to a virus that would deliver it all to your brain. Another example, this one is probably the most interesting and the most relative to what we're talking about. There's something out there called the 2045 Initiative. Have you ever heard of that, Steve?
I don't think so. Keep telling me about it.
It was founded by Dmitry Itskov in Russia. It proposes a multi-stage path from robot bodies to consciousness emulations where someone's personality could be transferred to non-biological carriers.
I have not heard about that.
Right. I assume they're a little off their road because they wanted because I believe the 2045 initiative started in 2011. Now, by 2015 to 2020, they wanted a avatar controlled by a brain computer. By 2025, they wanted an autonomous life support system for the human brain that would be linked to a robot. And between 2030 to 2035, they were wanting a computer model of the brain and human consciousness with the means to transfer it into an artificial carrier. And then by 2045, having a new era of humanity with holographic bodies. And supposedly, currently, right now, from the information that I read, they are taking pre-orders on said devices. Anywhere from $3 to $10 million an avatar.
Oh, nice. So all of us Johnny Q publics out here are just going to have to let the elites harvest our consciousness to do whatever they want with, sell it to the goddamn aliens. But if you're rich, you get to pick your own avatar before you go. Which is... How is this real life?
It's crazy.
How much do you have to trust your own shit to inject yourself with your own anti-aging virus Klingons?
Yeah. Right into the brain, right up the nose.
Because she said she did it to herself, right?
Yep, she did.
Like, kudos to her for standing 10 toes down on her shit.
Putting her money where her mouth is.
But how much do you have to trust that? That's like some Bruce Banner shit there.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, the consequences of that could be very dire. It's crazy.
Yep, you could have been taken out by that.
She's like, fuck it, let's go.
Yep.
Either I'm getting rich or I'm die trying.
And once again, all of this sounds fucking nuts. But roll back the clock.
I want it to be nuts. I hate that it's like on the precipice of reality.
Yeah. I think it's been reality for a long time because you roll backwards into some old occult stuff. There is this vessel concept in ritual magic, alchemy, and necromancy. All have a line of preparing a vessel for a spirit or a soul. A good example of this would be golems from Jewish mysticism.
Yeah.
Or Egyptian Ka statues that are used to house a soul after death. So in the sense of uploading a mind or AI personality mapping, which is creating a digital twin that is becoming the vessel, and a synthetic golem carrying a replicated essence. We also hear about loosh farming, which comes from Robert Monroe, apparently. For those that don't know, it's the idea that our loosh or life force energy is being harvested by higher beings. This is linked with technology through the algorithms, which we are essentially harvesting our attention and emotions. That in itself could be considered energy farming. We also have old world examples of soul transference. The opening of the mouth ceremony. This was an ancient Egyptian funerary and temple ritual to restore the senses and spiritual vitality of a deceased person. So they believed that in order for the soul to thrive in the afterlife, the body or its representation had to be ritually reanimated. Without this, the person would be mute, blind, and powerless in the next world. By opening the mouth, nose, and eyes, the priests were symbolically restoring the senses, allowing the spirit to speak, breathe, see, and eat in eternity. So just as the Egyptians prepared a body or statue as a receptive vessel for the soul, modern theories use AI avatars or digital substrates, which are serving the same role in preserving the identity. Ancient spells could function like software routines, restoring capacities and enabling survival. You also have the testament of Solomon. Solomon is given a magical ring that allows him to summon, bind, and command spirits, sometimes transferring spirits into objects, which suggests using a divine key or tool to relocate a soul. The book of Abraman, a German grimoire, gives a 18-month ritual on how to gain knowledge and conversation with one's guardian angel. In this text, though, it has methods for compelling and reassigning spirits, and in some interpretations, aligning one's soul with another vessel or form. So there's another ancient form of soul transference, which is all essentially like downloading your essence into another form, into this digital world. And we talked about it earlier, the idea of the creepypasta. I actually found real world examples of this. There were parents that created an AI avatar of their child that had been deceased during the Parkland Pew time. I also saw where people were using Project December and creating AI simulations of deceased loved ones.
That's so wild.
It's disturbing. So the real and to the point of this, people want this type of technology.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
It's very emotionally driven.
100%.
And I feel like they're banking on that a lot.
Yeah.
And the fact that, like,
by doing that with our emotions, it helps us rationalize all the things that are wrong with it.
And it's almost like we've been pre-programmed to believe that our souls are specific to us, right? Like, I have a very specific soul to me. But if you look at all these old writings where souls can be transferred from one place to the next, and they can be contained and they can be put here and now, like, it's not that far-fetched to think that people in the scientific community now are looking at these old texts and looking at these old spells and mysticisms and thinking, man, maybe there's something to that. Can we do this digitally? Like, it almost leads credence to the saying that we are not people with souls. We are just souls that, like, we're not bodies with souls. We're souls with bodies. You know, like,
yeah, I get that.
It's not specific to Steve. Steve was just chosen to house this soul.
Maybe.
Which is, it's hard to rewire your brain to think like that.
Yeah.
Right? Because we like to be very significant. We like to be very personalized, and our consciousness and our souls, we feel like, make that up. But if we're not, if everything that we are is just a container for a soul for this small, minute point in time, like, it's counterintuitive for my brain to think that way.
Yeah, it's really hard to process that. That was tough going down.
It's weird.
Yeah. But I was also reading and saw that two men that work for Microsoft, Gordon Bell and Jim Gray, they were talking about digitizing people. And they make it sound like it's really not that hard and almost essentially kind of already taken place, stating that retaining every conversation that a person has ever heard. Now, I don't know if that was a typo or if that was legitimate, because you would think that a conversation that a person has heard broadly expands the conversation database.
Oh, yeah.
Right? But they were saying that, and this is what I read, so we'll take it as this is what they said. Retaining every conversation that a person has ever heard would take up less than a terabyte of storage.
That's crazy.
That's insanity. One of the biggest hurdles is supposedly the speech or text recognition technologies, which I kind of feel like we're almost there. Go ahead.
Is that, well, I mean, does that include conversations like in movies and in...
I would assume so.
Which is fucking wild.
Yeah. I would assume so.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Another possibility is archiving and analyzing social internet use to map personalities. By doing this for about a 50-year span, it would be possible to model a society, the society's culture, their way of thinking, and their interests. Martine Rothblatt envisions something called mind files, which is collections of data from all kinds of sources, pictures, conversations, online activity. But apparently this software is being developed with the goal of generating conscious AIs. This software would read a person's mind file and generate a mind clone. Richard Grandmornan, which I believe is a handle for someone, but he summarized the concept of digital immortality using an equation. Semantic analysis plus social internet use plus artificial intelligence equals immortality. American physicist Frank J. Tipler, who is an expert on general theory of relativity, he presented this omega point theory, which outlines resurrection of the dead could take place at the end of the cosmos. Humans will evolve into robots, which will turn the entire cosmos at that point into a supercomputer, which will shortly before the big crunch perform the resurrection within cyberspace. It will reconstruct formerly dead humans from information captured by the supercomputer from the past light cone of the cosmos as avatars within a metaverse. David Dutch, who is a British physicist and pioneer in the field of quantum computing, also agrees with the Omega theory. Italian physicist and computer scientist I cannot say his name. He actually presents the idea of quantum archaeology, which suggests that reconstructing life, thoughts, memories, and feelings of any person in the past up to any desired level of detail, and thus resurrecting the original person via copying to the future. So there are a lot of people out there who are way smarter than Steve and I that believe this is going to be a possibility, or it already is a possibility. And the fact that people think that through quantum mechanics, whatever, quantum shit, you're going to be able to resurrect anyone at any given point in time is nuts.
Just more humans like with a god complex, you know?
Oh, 100%. Like I'll be 100% honest with you. I think it makes sense for humanity to evolve, right? Every species evolves and strives for survival, right? Every species does it. Every species wants to survive. It's encoded in all of us. Survival is encoded in us. And I think that it makes sense for humanity to want to go to either a digital platform or even a mechanical cyborg, biomechanical transhumanist avenue. I think that makes sense. I'm not saying that I 100% agree with it, but I think overall as a species, that is the path that we are inevitably on.
Yeah, I think it will eventually get there.
I absolutely think it's going to get there. I think that, with any given luck, I think you and I are going to see that happen in our lifetime.
It's going to be weird.
I think it's a reality for all of us. I really do.
I feel like all of this stems from a very primal human instinct that like this life that we have is never enough, right? Like look at how we view the afterlife. We always want there to be something more. Yeah. We always want there to be something beyond this. The Egyptians did it. They prepped their dead for the better afterlife. Like, and then you look at Christianity, you're always taking steps toward heaven and the afterlife. Like this what we exist in now, it can never be enough for people. And now you've got it to the point to where they're taking it beyond that to a digital immortality realm, where when this life's over, you can continue this life. You can continue it in a different body. You can continue it online. Like it just is never quite enough.
I don't know that I agree with the idea that it's never enough. I just think that people are afraid because we don't know what's next.
Oh, I agree with that.
The idea that the lights just go out is I'll admit right now, like the idea that one day I will close my eyes and everything is gone. Everything ceased to exist. I remember nothing. I do not continue on. It is just game over, plain and simple. That is a fucking terrifying thought.
Yeah. You wouldn't like, even know it.
I know. I know, but like we know it right now. And I think that alone drives evolution to a immortality standpoint.
Yeah. Yeah. The unknowingness of whatever comes after human existence definitely is behind the wheel of all this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole nother can of worms there.
Absolutely.
That's like, I don't know. And
but I'm glad
it is a fear thing because we don't know. We just know that as it stands right now,
it ends.
People don't come back.
Right. And then like what sucks as you and me get older, I'm sure you kind of feel the same way. Like you have kids and stuff and you get to our age, which we're not old by any means, but you start to really realize how short life is.
And it just keeps getting faster.
Keeps getting faster, man. Every day. And that's kind of scary, you know?
Yeah.
That you're getting to a point in life where you're kind of on the downhill side.
Yep.
And it's not a comfortable feeling.
That snowball starts rolling the immediate second you enter this world.
Yeah.
And there's no stopping it.
Yeah.
Until it stops, you know.
And dude, it's scary. Like when you really sit and think about that, that's scary.
Yeah.
And like I know a lot of people would be against this digital evolution, so to speak, but I think it's inevitable. I think it's going there. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know how I feel about it.
I was gonna ask you as we're closing the show, if you had the opportunity to be digitalized, to be digitally immortal, to have your essence, what makes Kyle contained for the possible future of you getting to be in another body, be it robotic, be it human, be it whatever, like you choose it, would you do it?
I don't know. I would want more information first. I think information on that would be key. I'll be honest, I would not rule it out.
It makes you think, like,
I wouldn't rule it out.
It makes you wonder.
Because even as a digital thing or a mechanical synthetic life form,
if you're still you.
Yeah. But my point is you at some point you could still die. Like it could still happen.
Yeah.
Right? And so because that's everybody's conundrum with immortality, a lot of people anyway, not everybody, is I think it gets portrayed to us as after a while you just basically are like immortality sucks. I just want to die now. Right?
Yeah.
But they almost like present it as like immortality is immortality. You can't escape it. But in this scenario, this digital immortality, you could fucking control, delete that shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say it could be as easy as just shutting it off.
Yeah.
You know?
So I don't know. I would be interested in it. I think realistically, God's honest truth, if you were to ask the question and reframe it in the context of like the movie Ready Player One, if I could digitally put myself into that universe where I could essentially kind of do like, think about it as being in the most advanced RPG game ever.
Yeah.
I would probably be like, I'll do that. Because then I could go be a knight and fight dragons, or I could go be this over here, and I could do this, and I could do that, and I could have friends, and I think that I would really, 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 really consider that.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are going to fucking hate that, but
it's a real moral quandary. Kind of, but kind of not. Like, if we are our souls, what does it matter what realm we exist in, what body we exist in? You know, do our souls stop existing just because this body dies?
right.
Does the energy life source stop existing just because this body gives out? Like,
And for all you and me know, we could pass on and our soul essentially does go into a Ready Player One universe where everything's possible. I don't fucking know.
Who knows?
Nobody knows.
It does pose very existential questions.
It's kind of crazy to really roll it around.
Yeah, that went a different, like, it had my head thinking differently than I thought it would when we first started.
Me too. Like I went into it with a very tunneled vision, and I like it kind of scatter shots as you dig around and play more and more and more.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
It's fucking. It was interesting, man.
That's your homework, Holocolt. As we're wrapping this up, if you had the opportunity to digitally immortalize your soul, to be brought back in any context whatsoever, be it in a video game scenario, be it in a cyborg scenario, be it in another human body, would you do that? And thinking here, could that be considered reincarnation?
I would say yes.
Yes.
I would say the only problem with that scenario is over time, I think it would desensitize the things that make life worth living.
Yeah.
Like, because think about it on the scale of like a marriage.
Yeah, you can just do it again in the next life. You can do it again on the next try.
Yeah. Or like it would be
It would get that way with everything eventually.
It would be insignificant. Like, I could be with my wife for 40 years and then divorce her. And whereas you and me right now, that's a big, big, big deal.
Yeah.
But in that form, it's really not that big of a deal because I live forever and I'll just go marry somebody else later on. Fuck it.
Yeah, I think that's what makes our human consciousness very specific to us, is that our time is very finite.
Yeah.
Like, we only have at best like 100 years to experience the human experience.
Yeah.
And when that's done, we're done.
It's done.
That's it. That's all we get.
Yeah.
And
so
that makes
aspect
us
is scary.
Yeah, that makes us almost have to appreciate and take things in differently than if we had the opportunity to just hit reset and go again when it's over.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the one downside to it right there.
You would, and then what does that diminish us from like being human, being the human experience? Does it like?
Yeah,
I don't know. God.
But at the same time, like I could think about it as like how awesome it could be to be married to that person for 5,000 years.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't all have to be negative and shit. It honestly just comes down to the person and the choices that you make, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. It's weird. Anyway, chew on that, Holocult. Happy Monday. Welcome to the existential crisis that we've just created in your brain. Thanks for hanging out with us. Definitely check us out at our socials and hit us up in the comments of the socials and emails and stuff. And let us know how you feel about digital immortality, if it's something you would consider if offered up to you. And until we meet again, stay safe, stay weird, and just remember, they're collecting all your data to create a digital clone of your consciousness and your soul. You heard it here first, folks.